he took a pork, like a pig, cut its head off, nailed it to their front door, and then took the entrails of that pig and put it in their car.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You know, we'll get to that. I think what our goal here is we're just going to judge the shit out of Hunter S. Thompson's life choices.
But not in a bad way.
Probably not. Most likely not. Hey there, fancy people. It is Caleb James and Spencer, the Jamaican jerky boy church. What's up, Spencer?
Hey, that might be the weirdest one yet. I
was thinking something Guatemalan, but I couldn't think of a G word that sounded good to go with it that wasn't offensive. Today's episode is going to be quite interesting. We decided we're just going to go down and read some of these insane facts about our man, Hunter S. Thompson. We already did in the past his daily routine, which was mostly just cocaine, various other drugs, and a little bit of writing. So I think this will be pretty fun.
More in-depth look into the madness, that is.
I kind of look into the broken mind of a weird guy who is only parallel to maybe Johnny Depp.
Yeah, which I guess would make sense for...
Yeah, it was a close friend of his who did him played him in the movie. And he also kind of went off the deep end. I mean, Johnny Depp is like Hunter S. Thompson if Hunter S. Thompson was still alive. Just bought a bunch of mansions and is doing crazy shit.
Yeah.
We're also drinking B&B's, Benedictine, and brandy, so strong drinks for a strong podcast.
Oh, is that why we're drinking it?
That's our sponsor.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not really, but we got to start practicing for when we get sponsors. Yeah. See, I got to add a nice flavor. Benedictine. Gotta let it roll off the tongue.
Gotta get your announcer voice going.
I don't know about that. I wish I had an announcer voice. Sometimes I hear people on different podcasts and I'm like, that motherfucker's got a good voice. And they don't even do podcasts like they're a guest or something. That always pisses me off. We got like a Kevin Smith. That's like a perfect podcaster voice.
Yeah. Well, he's also been doing it for 10 years and he has all that talking experience from his shows and stuff. So I remember I was listening to one of his podcasts and they played like a video of him like right before he went out to film school. Now, granted, that's forever ago, so your voice changes throughout time, but it was weird to see the influx of, like, how someone's voice changes throughout the year, and then you add in, that was before all, like, the cigarette smoking, and then moved to the weed smoking and stuff, which I'm sure,
Yeah, the weed smoking probably deepens it a little. I mean, look at, what the fuck was her name from? She was on American Horror Story a bunch of times. Stevie Nicks. Of course, hers might have been from cocaine use too, but
that didn't do it.
Yeah, she was from Fleetwood Mac, the singer. You hear her now; she sounds very shitty. She sounds like she gargled glass and dog shit. Like it's bad, and not just like normal dog shit, like the white dog shit that's been in the sun. The real hard, rocky, jagged dog shit. We probably shouldn't make fun of Stevie Nicks. She's very beloved in the LGBTQ community, and I don't want to offend them.
No.
But I can't say I'm a big fan of Stevie Nicks. At least now. Anyway, we're going to get right into this topic because we picked it at random and decided to talk about it. Alright, there's 42 of these motherfuckers. I don't know if we'll cover all these.
Yeah, I don't.
We might, at the most, just read some of the titles if they're not interesting enough. But 42. Always thinking outside the box. See, that seems a little vague. This is from Factinate.com. So shout out to Factinate.com for creating a list of Hunter S. Thompson's unusual habits and life choices.
I'm sure they had fun making this list, doing all that research, and
we'd probably get a lot more views on the site if we start doing lists like this.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a comic book article that you slap together that went viral. I mean, why win this? Still angers you, huh? You can sit there for 2 weeks writing a story and get fucking 20 views. And like, and then you do a comic book article and it literally gets over 100 views a day.
Yeah, like, it's something you should be happy about, but then in a way it's not.
I remember editing that after you wrote it, just like adding pictures and stuff, and I was like, nobody's gonna read this.
Yeah. That was like one of the first like early on things that we did for the website.
Yeah. I don't know why that took off so much. Because we had another one. What was that one? The strongest Marvel DC heroes or something?
Something like that, yeah.
And then we had one that was the same thing. It was just the villains. Strong villains. And that one did okay. It didn't do it. Fucking didn't go viral, that's for sure. Alright, so always thinking outside the box. I'm going to read this from the site itself. When he was a teenager, Thompson allegedly made an electric go-kart out of a washing machine engine. Sadly, the detergent wasn't included. Yuck, yuck, yuck. I'm already regretting reading this. This might be terrible, actually. 41, this is when you were talking about pre-show. Christians eat pork, right? Back in the early 60s, Thompson lived in Big Sur, California. At one point, a group of religious fanatics moved next door, much to Thompson's fury. Not like dismay or anything like that. It had to be fury. He was just so enraged that they moved next door.
Which, if they're fanatics, I could understand.
Well, let's see if it says anything about that. He voiced his disapproval by nailing a wild boar's head to their door and putting the same boar's entrails in their car. Classy move.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't do that? That's welcoming, if anything.
I don't know how you don't get arrested.
This was probably in the 60s or 70s. Yeah, 60s, that's what it says.
Still, though.
Laws were different back then. Anyway, there's no record of how quickly they moved again, but since Thompson only had to do it once, we're betting it was the same week. Well, who was moving, him or the Christians?
I'm thinking the Christians.
It didn't say why they were fanatic. And why did he hate Christians?
I think he just seems like that. He probably hated all religion.
But enough to get, where'd he get a wild boar? Not a pig, a wild boar in California. In Big Sur. So he just went out in his backyard probably. I don't know if you saw the video of him. This is my favorite all-time Hunter S. Thompson video, and there's a lot of them. He's wearing these fucking shorty shorts, and he's being interviewed by a reporter at his like little ranch or whatever. I forget where he lived, Montana or somewhere, maybe California. But his neighbor was pissed off at him, and they were shooting guns at each other. Like they weren't, they were yelling and stuff, but they were across the property lines, shooting fucking guns at each other. And then Thompson was making fun of him. He was like, it was like a 22 the guy was shooting or something. He's like, you try to shoot, or buckshot. He's like, you gonna try to shoot me with some fucking bullshit buckshot? And then he shoots him with this fucking giant, like, revolver. I kind of wish I could live his life, but how would you, after he died, I think they just outlawed that. Like, for him, they would be like, okay, he could shoot at his neighbors, it's fine. If we try to do that today, no go.
He got grandfathered in. He's like, well, he's been doing this kind of shit for his whole life, so we're just gonna let it get. He's not gonna be long too much longer, so we'll just let him get away with it.
I think that maybe that still was okay in some parts of Texas, but they still, like, frown upon that. Number 40. We were somewhere in the atmosphere. For anyone who suspects Thompson might have slowly grown into his rebel persona, things actually began as early as high school. After he was arrested for robbery while in his senior year. God damn. Breaking the law of felonies right off the bat, huh? The teenage Thompson was told to either pick jail or military service. I actually did hear about this because I think he picked military service, and that was interesting. That's how he started writing, I think, or at least he wrote while he was in the Army. Thompson joined the U.S. Air Force, whatever, studying and holding a few different positions until he was honorably discharged in 1958. In one of the greatest understatements ever said, his commanding officer recommended Thompson's discharge, explaining that this airman, although talented, will not be guided by policy. I don't feel he would follow any of the rules.
Yeah, I don't think you would have I think you would have a hard time trying to tell him what to do.
But, and this is a big but, if you have a man who's willing to shoot his neighbor over a random dispute, wouldn't you kind of want that guy in maybe not the Air Force, but Marines?
Well, you figure that happened after this. So.
This was in the 60s? What did it say? 60? He was in high school. Maybe it was the 50s. I'm not sure, yeah, because I was thinking of Vietnam time. They went for guys like that, I thought, but maybe not before. He was a civil rights supporter. Throughout his life, Thompson was an avid supporter of the civil rights movement. According to actor Benicio del Toro, who co-starred in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, he did a great job in that role as the fad, was that guy Colombian? What was he? Mexican, maybe? I forget what he called him. Thompson kept a large picture of I always mess up this dude's name. Thompson kept a large picture of Che Guevara in his kitchen. He also wrote critically of the white power structures that existed in America's society. In a letter to his friend, he compared Karl Marx to Thomas Jefferson. Well, that's interesting. He also, I remember when he was doing something with the Hells Angels, he got in a big fight with them over, like, because they were racist and women beaters. So he was kind of a wild guy. Like, to fight the Hells Angels, that takes a lot of balls.
Just to even, because didn't he, like, interview them and spend a lot of time with them and stuff?
Yeah, he was kind of a part of the... He wasn't a Hells Angel, but he was part of the group for a while.
Just to do that takes balls, like...
That's what I'm saying. And that was, like, back then, like, the fucking murdering Hells Angels. They were fucking everybody up. 38. Just add Captain to my list of titles. One of Thompson's lesser-known novels is The Curse of Lono. I never heard of that one. The story is based on the true story of Thompson's 1980 trip to Hawaii with his good friend Ralph Steadman. They cover the Honolulu Marathon, even as Thompson goes fishing for marlin and declares himself the reincarnation of the Hawaiian god Lono. In between these misadventures, the book includes the story of Captain Cook, who visited the Hawaiian Islands, was also considered a reincarnation of Lono, and was killed after his welcome was worn out. I didn't really fucking care about that, but what I thought was interesting was how... Because he was, he created Gonzo journalism, that somewhat fictional style of reporting on events. Like, you didn't know, like Fear and Loathing. You didn't know how much of that actually happened and how much he just made up. But what I thought was always cool is they just sent him on all these weird trips everywhere. Like, he's doing a trip to Hawaii. He did, it was like a motorcycle or dirt bike, some kind of fucking crazy desert race in Fear and Loathing. He fucking covered a campaign trail. He did all kinds of weird stuff.
It's kind of like the very earliest versions of, like, a Vice. Like, whenever Vice first started.
Yeah, just going off and doing all these crazy adventures. And you're getting paid for it. That would be awesome. That would be my dream. I wish I could do that. There's not too many, like, publications that do that kind of stuff anymore, though. Like you said, Vice, but even them, they're...
Now they're like a network now.
Yeah, they got too big for their britches.
And they, like, show, like, Law and Order reruns now.
I know I watched YouTube videos on Vox, and they do kind of similar things. Like, they go to Colombia and Peru and different places. 37. Fight Fire with Fire. In 1993, ABC was meant to have an interview with famous Rolling Stone member Keith Richards. However, at the last minute, Richards demanded more money and kept the reporter behind a locked door. ABC turned to Thompson to solve the issue, and Thompson deigned to actually help someone out for once. And what did he do? He blasted the door with the recorded sounds of a pig being slaughtered through a megaphone until Richards opened the door. Thompson promptly began interviewing him. To the world's unending delight, the interview's footage still exists and is available online.
That might be something we have to check out.
Oh man. You know what? How about I look that up and you read the next one?
Okay. Well, like, I wonder if the recording of the pig sound was, like, from the pig from the...
The one on board?
Yeah. Alright. A tropical retreat, number 36. In 1960, Thompson moved to Peru, to work as a sports writer for the magazine fleeting titled El Spectando. Sorry, that's probably Spanish. I barely speak English, so excuse me on that. The magazine closed shortly after his arrival. We couldn't find out if that was a punishment to the result. Thomas would go on to write a book about his adventures in Peru, titled The Drum Diaries, which was turned into a movie starring Johnny Depp as Thompson, named Paul Kemp in the story. Which is, like, the second time he's played him, right?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the Rum Diary. It's Puerto Rico, not Peru.
Oh, my bad.
What the fuck is that? El Sportivo? Is that what you were saying? I don't know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a weird job, working in Puerto Rico as a sports writer.
I'd imagine all you usually talk about is soccer.
And rum. Yeah, soccer and baseball.
Oh, yeah, baseball. I forgot about baseball.
Here's that interview with Keith Richards. Let's see if this picks up on the audio. It's all fucking terrible looking.
I'm a doctor of, everything except medicine.
ABC
It doesn't have the pig part.
I changed my eyes and my spine.
What was wrong with the first three?
You get two people who you could barely understand.
What else did he change? The blood bath.
I never did. No,
That was a leading edge of
no, it was a great
rock and roll.
I threw that joke out because I was going to clean up the dope, you know, and change the blood. I thought that would.
It's just nothing but mumbling.
I'm stuck with it now.
It's really just a transfusion.
They're both high as fuck.
If you subtitled it, it'd just be Coke, 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 Coke.
I mean, who would want to change this blood? I mean, who'd want it?
Alright, that's enough of that. We're not gonna make anything heads or tails of that. What a fucking weird interview. Like, that's such a weird coupling of people. They got Hunter S. Thompson to interview Keith Richards. Like, that'd be... I don't even know who they compare... Ozzy Osbourne and... I don't even know who you compare that to, like, today. Alright. 35. Peculiar Paradox. Interestingly, Johnny Depp was the reason that the Rum Diary was even published in the first place, as he found the unpublished manuscript. After the book was published in 1998, over 30 years after it was first written, several attempts to adapt it into a movie were made. At one point, Josh Hartnett was set to star in the film as the main character. Depp would eventually play the role of Kemp in 2011, after he'd already played the older Thompson in Fear and Loathing more than a decade earlier. Luckily, Depp shows almost no signs of aging, so this worked out. Johnny Depp looks weird now.
Oh, he like...
His face got real fat, and he aged like 20 years overnight.
He's like borderline, what's his face from the Lord of the Rings almost. The pressures.
Gollum?
Yeah, he's looking a little Gollum-y.
Yeah, he's creepy looking. I don't know what happened to him. I know what happened to him when he had that whole thing with Amber Heard.
Yeah.
Like, that just fucking... Because I watched a video where he was throwing wine bottles or glasses or something at her. Wait, I don't think it was at her. It was like at the wall. He was just really drunk and belligerent. And then I watched some of his concert footage around that time, and he's just like a big fat mess. I don't know what happened.
Did you ever see the video of him and her? It was something about like they were going to like Australia, and they tried to bring their dog a lot around with them, and like they have like a very strict no pets thing.
Yeah, they made a big deal about it.
And the apology video they made just looked and sounded like somebody off camera
with a gun.
It was pointed at him.
Yeah, just holding an AK at him. 34. Apparently, Hunter S. Thompson spent a lot of time in just these weird tropical areas. South American sounds nice. Thompson wasn't just limited to North America on his travels. Well, fucking obviously, because we already talked about Puerto Rico and Hawaii. Well, I guess Hawaii's North America. That's like Pacific. That can't be North America.
No.
I mean, it's the part of the U. I never thought about that. Hawaii's a part of the U.S., but like Alaska would be North America, but
this is way
north.
way north.
But Hawaii's in the Pacific, so why? I don't know. That's very weird. So if you just if we just took over, fucking piece of garbage, stupid Facebook bullshit. Because I signed on I went on the browser. Anyway, but Hawaii, like if we took over Australia, that's even farther out. I mean, would we still say, oh, it's North America because it's U.S. owned? Or do we become global?
I think it's just America.
America. Anyway, Thompson wasn't just limited to North America on his travels. Bouncing between jobs, Thompson spent several months in Brazil, writing for its only English-language daily newspaper in Rio de Janeiro. I really want a job like that. Like, I would fucking go, well, maybe not Brazil. Like Argentina or something. If they had an English-only magazine or something, I would fucking live there. Somewhere where they got nice coffee shops.
You big coffee guy?
Yeah.
Like enough like that's the sale. Like, I got a nice coffee shop. Oh.
I don't know if you know this about Argentina, but they have 24-hour cafes everywhere. And I'm talking bookstore cafes. And they have a shitload of bookstores. But here's a big selling point for you maybe. They're like one of the top steak places in the world. And their food's real cheap, but they give you big portions. And they just, like, that's the big thing. It's just beef.
I do love me some steak.
I know you love you some meat, boy.
Yeah.
I like me that meaty feel in my mouth. It's real good like. Tell us how you really feel. One person who received the ire of Thompson's wrath was Richard Nixon, a man who could shake your hand and stab you in the back at the same time, according to Thompson. Even in 1994, after the former president's death, Thompson minced no words when he declared that Nixon's coffin should have been launched into one of those open sewage canals and empty into the ocean just south of Los Angeles.
Wow.
He was a swine of a man and a jabbering dupe of a president.
A dupe.
I love that word. Never heard it used like that. Dupe. Sadly, he was not permitted to write Nixon's official obituary.
Oh, that would have been great.
Fuck do I wish Thompson was alive when President Trump was in office.
He should have wrote it anyways.
Oh, I wish he did. Could you imagine if Hunter S. Thompson was alive for the last, when did he die? I think he was still alive when first Bush was in. I think he didn't like him. But, I want to see what he would think about Trump or just any of the people in Congress at all at this point, because he hated a lot of government officials to begin with.
Well,
just see all the, a fucking month-long shutdown.
Well, and then, I don't know, because we haven't gone all the way through this article yet, but wasn't there, a story where, some guy was running for, Congress somewhere, or, maybe even president, and he just started making up lies about him and fake stories, and
that guy didn't get elected.
Yeah!
I think that might have been the fear and loathing on the campaign trail.
Yeah.
Or something like that. 32. No fan of Bill's. It wasn't just Republicans who angered Thompson, however. He also voiced his displeasure for President Bill Clinton, remarking that Clinton was every bit as corrupt as Nixon, but a lot smoother. Given Clinton's famous saxophone solo on the Arsenio Hall show, we're inclined to agree with Thompson there. That's fucking stupid. So he hated Bill Clinton. If he didn't like Bill Clinton, who did he like?
Nobody?
You figure that might have been the kind of guy he would... I think he just liked hating everybody. He seemed like a very angry man at times. Who did he like besides drug dealers and drug users? Because I've read his letters when he worked for Rolling Stone to other writers, and it was always just shitting on them real hard.
And he's the drug dealers and other druggies, he probably didn't even really enjoy them. He was just a means to an end.
True. 31, I'm sure he appreciated that. Never mind. Cartoonist Gary Trudeau famously used Thompson as the model for his character of Duke, the protagonist in Trudeau's Doonesbury cartoon strip. Reportedly, and in true Thompson spirit, Thompson once commented that he never met Trudeau. If he ever met Trudeau, he would set him on fire. Seems a little harsh. Well, there's a little picture from, I'm assuming, the comic strip, and it does look just like him. Nowadays, couldn't you sue for that? If somebody used your likeness in a cartoon of any kind?
Yeah.
30. Before Gonzo was a Muppet. Well, yeah, from the Muppet Babies. In 1970, Thompson was struggling to meet the deadline for an article he was meant to write. The article, titled "The Kentucky Derby is Decadent and Depraved," eventually became written from pages in Thompson's personal notebook. It was written from a subjective first-person perspective, feverish in its intensity and sometimes blending fact and with fiction. This style became known as Gonzo journalism, and Thompson would employ it for the rest of his life.
That could be the only kind of journalism I think I could do. I don't think I could be a real, journalist and, write that kind of stuff. I just don't think...
Here's my problem with journalism. I don't like doing the research part.
Yeah.
Not even necessarily the research, doing all the citations, citing all your sources and everything. That's a lot of fucking work. The biggest story I think of last year or this year... I think it was a New York Times story about Trump's taxes or something. They took a whole year to come up with this story, researching, writing, a whole fucking team. And it was the top story for a day. And then it just faded away after the week nobody even talked about it.
Probably faded away to how big Kim Kardashian's ass is.
Fucking large. We can't talk too much shit. I got Kanye coming on the show in a couple weeks. I don't want to piss him off. Kim Kardashian seems like a very nice lady. What she lacks in talent...
She makes up in diaper butt.
In diaper butt. I mean, what do you do if you have a diaper butt? Do you have a special toilet?
Oh, that thing has to be... Well, not only is that toilet probably made out of gold. Most likely.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, definitely gotta be gold.
But yeah, it probably has to be huge. Well, I'm not so much because I imagine as long as you got a sturdy enough toilet, they can withstand the extra weight. My thing is the fucking wrap around to clean afterwards. She's gonna to the point where she's gonna need like a wiping stick or something fat people need to get back there to clean up.
I thought that was little people.
Well, fat, I mean, like, when you get really fat, you can't,
Yeah, but I think at some point you stop caring if you get that big.
Well,
Look,
yeah.
I'm saying, like, I don't think those people are wiping too much at that point. But what do they fucking care?
Well, and then Kim Kardashian probably has some kind of special, like, champagne bidet or something, probably.
Yeah, what are we talking about? She doesn't wipe. She got a fucking little robot ass sprayer that just shoots right up in there.
That would probably pay somebody to wipe for her.
Yeah, there's a little guy named Santiago in her bathroom that comes out of the wall. Just his hand, just pat, 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 pat. Well, fucking course there is. I mean, why would it be any different?
Yeah, why wouldn't there be?
The real question is that ass, you said weight. Do you think it's heavy or do you think it's just fluff?
Well, when you take collagen and fat from other things and shove it in there...
Yeah, but I don't know.
Because it's not like she got it from doing squats or anything.
Well, definitely not. What I want to say is it doesn't look good.
No.
But at one time it did.
It did. At one time it did.
Here's the question. Did she keep injecting fat into it or whatever she does? Or did she just kind of let it go and then after a while it just turns to that? Because Nicki Minaj has the same ass now. I don't know if you noticed. She got the big diaper butt.
Yeah.
Hers might be a little smoother, but if you see her in clothes, they always pan away at award shows because her ass looks weird. And I'm wondering, who's the youngest one? Kylie Jenner?
I think so.
Like the billionaire one from her fucking makeup line, which doesn't piss me off at all. She got her ass done and it looks weirdly not round. I can't even explain it. Like long, wide, oblong. Like if you look at it, you could say that's not a real ass.
So wait, is it shaped like an egg or something?
Yeah, that's like if you just had a side of an egg.
So if you put an egg on its side, that's like looking at her ass?
Yeah, if you like had an egg in a bowl of water and only half of it was afloat. Yeah. So I'm wondering, is her ass going to be like that when she's older? Because I don't know if you've seen her face, but it's starting to get fucked up looking already. Like she does a lot of makeup and stuff, but it doesn't look right. It looks like you're looking at a doll or something. It's not human. And I'm trying to think, is anyone in that family human looking? They all have the fake butts. The Kendall Jenner, I think she's like normal looking. I saw her in a little Dickie video recently, and she doesn't look weird.
The big one?
No, she's skinny.
The one that like is popping out on all the babies?
No, that's Courtney, I think.
No, I thought Courtney was
the short. That's Chloe. You're talking about OJ's daughter.
Yeah.
OJ Simpson's daughter.
Chewbacca.
Yeah, she's a large lady, but she got a lot of work done. I don't know if the Courtney one, she's the oldest, I think. I don't know. Why are we fucking talking about this? Dude, no. Damn it. They infiltrated the fucking DPW podcast. I'm sorry, folks. This is supposed to be an intellectually stimulating conversation about Hunter S. Thompson's drug use, and here we are talking about the Kardashians' butts. Again. 29. Neptune nearly got me. In 1972. Her fucking butt, though, looks so weird. I don't like it. I know I shouldn't judge, and it's not my place. She could have a butt however she likes, but it just pisses me off that people enjoy it so much.
What looks more weird? Kim Kardashian's ass or all of Caitlyn Jenner? Just all of it.
I thought you were going to say a moon crater, but yeah.
I was trying to keep it in the family.
Well, Caitlyn Jenner...
It's a beautiful lady.
Beautiful, brave woman who happens to look a lot like Bruce Jenner, but a little smoother, I guess. Well, you know what? Caitlyn Jenner must be getting more work done or just looking better, the hormones or something, because Cindy Crawford got mistaken for Caitlyn Jenner at a show recently, and I seen the picture, and I kind of saw it.
How would that make
she's older now. I mean, she's like 50 or 60. So, but I saw it. I looked at it, and I was like, oh, yeah, I can kind of see. She don't have the annoying voice.
That still pissed me off, though.
You know what irritates me? There's this app I found. I think it's called Cameo, and you can there's a whole list of like celebrities. I mean, the most famous one I saw in there was probably like Wesley Snipes, or like a Peyton Manning. I don't even think it was Peyton Manning, Brett Favre. Like just like lower celebrities, and they'll do for certain prices. They'll do shout outs for you, like birthday or whatever you say on your phone. Well, one of them was Caitlyn Jenner, and surprise, she was the most expensive one at $1,000. Now, a lot of fucking people that were on there, like for movies and TV shows, and even Wesley Snipes was like $500 or something. And
That's not bad.
He's been in A-list movies, but a lot of them, like
Blade.
Blade. But like your Bam Margera's and different ones like that, they're like $30.
Really?
Yeah, you can get like I guarantee if you look on there, you can find a bunch of people you enjoy, and it's like $20. And you get them to say pretty much whatever you want. I mean, they won't probably get gross, but I was very surprised. Like not promoting Cameo, but I was entertained because you could watch the videos of other shout-outs, and I was watching some people that were just really funny because, for instance, they had the great Khali from wrestling who doesn't speak English, and they just literally had some guy behind the camera. You could hear him saying, "Okay, Khali, say happy birthday, Brendan," and then Khali just goes, "Happy birthday, Brendan," and I'm just like, it's so fake, and it's like, who bought that? But then I kind of thought, for $5, I'd pay for that.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking for one, just like random people that I might get just to do it. And just give a fucking random shout out just to be hilarious.
For the website or something.
Well, we could do that. Just have DPW shout outs, get a whole bunch of them. See, now we gotta look up because they always change, I guess. Like, there's different rotating celebrities. I'm trying to think. Pretty much any, like, Steel City convention, all those people were there for sure.
Oh, yeah?
And they're all like $20. Like I said, some of the bigger names, like people have won Oscars, or there's a lot of Hall of Fame sports stars. Some of them might be a little more expensive. But Caitlyn Jenner was $1,000. That was the most expensive one I saw. And I don't know why. Who's paying for that? The second most expensive was some old guy from Shark Tank. Forget his name. He charged like $800 or $900. I was like, I don't even know who this fucking dude is. He has some stupid nickname on there. He's like the bald fat guy.
Oh, I can picture the guy you're talking about, but I don't know his name or nothing.
He's the one that I don't think anybody likes.
The only person from
Mark
Shark
Cuban?
Tank, yeah, that's it.
I saw Charles Barkley on there once.
Was he trying to sell something, or?
No, he was judging.
Because I didn't think he would have money to invest in anything.
The one I saw him in, it was this stuff you snort. It was like cocaine, but it wasn't. It was like this tube, and I guess it wakes you up and makes you alert. And they all did it, and it was like they're on cocaine. They're like, fuck yeah! Like, they're all pumped up. I was like, I kind of want that. Maybe it's legal cocaine. I don't know.
Cocaine?
Where were we? Neptune nearly got... This is going to be 12 hours long at this rate. I don't think we're covering all these. Neptune nearly got me. In 1972, Thompson covered the Democratic Convention for Rolling Stone. Since it also took place in Miami that year, he decided to go for a swim on the beach after he was finished. As might be considered typical of his luck, a tropical storm happened to hit the coast that night, causing Thompson's evening swim to turn into a furious struggle to stay alive. Well, fuck. I bet he was drunk. He finally did survive, but he didn't reach dry land until 9 a.m. the next morning.
Jesus.
What the fuck time did he go out? That's ridiculous. I feel like if we just had 1 year of his life, we would have lived a good life.
I don't think I could have done it. Like, I don't think I could do a year of his...
Definitely not the drug use. That'll fuck you up. But even just going to all the places he went to and fighting people. But again, that goes with the drugs. Because you're not trying to light people on fire if you're not on drugs, I don't think.
Like, you're probably not catching a wild boar and decapitating it and pulling its entrails out if you're not on something.
Yeah, that seems a little harsh. Plus, wild boars are big. How do you capture it? This fucking article's already pissing me off because they're not going into the details you want. Like, it doesn't explain, like, it didn't explain why he hated the Christians so much. It didn't explain how he got the pig. Like, I want details, and I'm not Googling all this shit. 28, an explosive combination. Throughout his life, Thompson was an enthusiast of guns and drugs alike. He was a member of the National Rifle Association and collected a huge amount of different guns. He also campaigned for the legalization of all drugs, pointing out that while there might be some trouble with it, it would be better in the long run. Which is funny because now that's what a lot of people are calling for.
Yeah.
Seriously. Not as, some weird whack job writer that's just talking about it, like the 60s when everyone was already on drugs.
Well, isn't there's someplace like legalized like everything and like all their like drug use is like dropped. Crazy.
Venezuela maybe?
Something
or
like that.
Not Argentina. Venezuela. One of those South American countries like that. Yeah. They decriminalized all drugs and it dropped dramatically. Which was his quote, "Look at Prohibition. All it did was make a lot of criminals rich." True. Agree with him or not, this did make some good points. Yeah, Prohibition, all it made is your Al Capones and the Kennedy family and a bunch of people that got rich off of bootlegging. And now who's getting rich? People that, sell drugs. And once marijuana has become legal in a lot of places, the fucking drug dealers have fallen off. Because what are they going to do?
Yeah, like the cartels and everything.
Put it this way, if you can buy drugs anywhere, who the fuck is going to sell them once you can already, like, there's no business for them anymore? Because once the government gets their foot in, like, okay, we're selling this shit. Of course, if you go conspiracy-wise, maybe the government's already selling them. Wink, wink. Anyway, according to Alex Jones. You ever see his gay fish rant?
No.
Really?
He has a gay fish rant?
Oh, let me bring that up. Here, you read the next one. I'm going to bring up Alex Jones' gay fish rant, because it is my favorite thing on the internet.
So which one are we on to? Number
27.
27. So the Z on his forehead stood for zoo. Thomas, like any true aesthetic, kept a mind of pets throughout his life. A few of the more notable pets he kept were a pair of peacocks, a monkey. The monkey was said to have had a taste for alcohol, which isn't surprising.
Doesn't surprise me in the least.
At all. Though we're not sure if that was the only issue when it came to Thomas's pet. Yeah, you think all of them would be into, like, drugs and cocaine and...
What is it about rich eccentrics that have to have exotic animals? Like Michael Jackson had fucking bubbles. I mean, he had a bunch of animals. Mike Tyson had tigers. Like, once you get rich, do you just have to buy exotic animals?
Yeah, what else are you gonna use your money on?
True. I would have a tiger if I could. Wrestle it. Here is Alex Jones' Gay Frogs. I think I can't find the original, but this is probably more enjoyable. Oh, wait a minute. Let's get through the 20-minute survey. Because everybody does these surveys, I'm sure, on YouTube. Here we go.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap. Gay. Frogs, friggin' frogs. It's not funny. I'm gonna say
Alright, that's enough of that.
That might need to be my new ringtone.
Wait, just couple more seconds.
Won't you fight for your life? Gay frogs, friggin' frogs. I don't like the frogs.
Okay.
That needs to be like at a rave, just with glow sticks.
Turn the frogs gay. They did turn the frogs gay. I looked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were dumping chemicals in the water and the frogs were turning gay. Fuck, I don't know how you follow that up. Well, something extremely boring, apparently.
That needs to be the outro of the podcast.
Just change up the music.
Yeah.
You know what? I will for this one. Just fade in. They turned the freaking frogs gay. You don't see how angry he is. He's slamming shit real hard on his desk. Yeah, that's by far my favorite Alex Jones video I've ever seen. 26. Don't forget to vote. Starting in 1971, Thompson followed the re-election campaign of former President Richard Nixon and the failed campaign of Democratic candidate George McGovern. This is what you were talking about earlier. He wrote many articles for Rolling Stone, and they were eventually converted into a new book called Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail 72, which focused almost entirely on the Democratic Party's attempt to find a candidate to beat Nixon in the election. I think that's the one he ruined his chances. Yeah, so he did some shit. 25. Smuggling an elephant, one tusk at a time. That already sounds great.
Yeah.
One tusk at a time. Maybe that doesn't sound great. In 1974, the world was tuning in to watch the infamous Rumble in the Jungle fight between Muhammad Ali and George Foreman pre-grill. Well, no shit. Getting tickets. Can you imagine if George Foreman in his heyday of boxing was just fucking grilling still? Like everybody just saw him as the big lovable teddy bear, but then he goes in the ring and just murders everybody. Getting tickets for this fight were impossible to get. Yeah, getting tickets for this fight were impossible to get, so it was lucky that Thompson and his illustrator, Ralph Steadman, got free tickets and travel expenses to Zaire, now known as the Congo, from Rolling Stone, so they could cover the event in person. See, that would have been awesome if Rolling Stone was still popular enough you could get a job at and they'd send you places like that.
Yeah.
Instead, Thompson allegedly either gave away or sold the tickets and to the fucking biggest sporting event of all time. Like, he just gave them away. And he gave them away or sold them and went on safari looking for pygmy tribes. There's no evidence that he ever found any pygmies, but he did purchase ivory from some locals, which caused a huge incident when he was stopped at the airport trying to take the ivory back home without paying customs. That's completely illegal now, I believe.
Yeah, that's something you would get in trouble for. Can't do that shit now.
No, and you shouldn't. Fucking crazy, man. 24. You asked for it. At one point, Thompson purchased a mail-order doctorate in divinity, which meant he could legally call himself Dr. Hunter S. Thompson. Can you still do that?
I would so pay for that.
Fucking right. Dr. Spencer Church.
Yeah, and I would make
Doctor in Divinity.
I would make some people at work call me that too. Like,
oh fuck yeah! Once you're a doctor, you can make people call you doctor. It should be illegal not to. When his neighbor, actor Don Johnson, Miami Vice, Django Unchained. Don Johnson was in Django Unchained. Did you see that movie? Who the fuck did he play?
Was he like one of the like racist slave owners? Maybe.
That was pretty much every white guy in the movie, but yeah. I don't know. Fuck, you had Leo DiCaprio, you had Magneto, Michael Fassbender. Was
he like one of the people with when Tarantino showed up as like those?
Maybe. I didn't know Don Johnson still worked. Anyway, he approached Thompson one day and quizzed him on what the sound of one hand clapping was. According to Johnson, Thompson promptly reached out and slapped his neighbor across the head. That seems unnecessary. That's some Rick James shit right there. Just fucking assaulting people for no reason. Number 23, no hard feelings then. Surprisingly, Don Johnson and Hunter S. Thompson will work together on a screenplay for a television movie. It was about a police officer dealing with alcoholism and drug addiction, of course, even as he dated the daughter of a mafia chief. Surprisingly, NBC bought the script and turned it into a series called Nash Bridges. Get the fuck out of here. That's where Nash Bridges came from?
No way!
No. Fuck, that's amazing. Goddamn. 22. Hey, I wouldn't do that. Everything else, sure, but not that. When providing his commentary for the film Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Thompson took personal offense at the scene where the character based on him spitefully tosses his waiter's tip behind him onto the floor. Thompson found it incredibly distasteful and rude, which is an interesting line to draw given what else his character does in the film. Interestingly, the dwarf actor who plays the waiter in that scene had previously appeared in Where the Buffalo Roam. That was the Bill Murray Hunter S. Thompson movie, which he did a good Hunter S. Thompson also. Young Bill Murray. He was good to waitstaff. It's nice to know. Yeah, I remember seeing that scene in the movie and thinking that was kind of a dick thing to do. Throw somebody's tip on the ground. 21. A close shave. The closest I ever gave. To prepare Johnny Depp to play him in the movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Thompson personally shaved Depp's head so that their hairlines matched. I feel you could just went with the hairdresser on set.
Yeah.
Like, they have a whole team. I'm sure they would have did a fine job of cutting your hair. You don't need a fucking crazy man with a machete. I didn't get there, but I'm assuming. Let's see. Thompson personally shaved his head. Okay. Unfortunately, the Raoul Duke hairstyle never caught on, which no doubt crushed poor Thompson's dream of being a single barber. They got a picture. I wish I could put it up. It's audio. Of fucking Thompson cutting Johnny Depp's hair. And what is on his head? On Thompson's head? Is it a big light or a camera? I can't tell.
I think it's a camera. And I think...
But they didn't have GoPros back then. No, it's got a big white thing on the top of it.
That maybe like that's the flash or something? I don't know.
Why would he do that? He's shaving it with a razor, like just a normal razor. Johnny Depp looks high.
He's probably just high standing next to Hunter Thompson, like...
For sure.
I think you just get a contact. Even if he hasn't been doing anything, I think you still get a contact, just...
Definitely. 20. Meet my new friends. To research his 1966 work, Hell's Angels, the strange and terrible saga of the outlaw motorcycle gang, Thompson spent 2 years living with the Hell's Angels. He was able to glean a great amount of insight into their way of life, witnessing their darker side while still being able to write about it. Well, we covered that. Like I said, there's that interview. It's like in front of a crowd, too, and the biker ends up wanting to beat up Thompson. And I guess they beat him up before because he broke up. Like, one of the Hells Angels was beating the shit out of his wife somewhere. And, like, Thompson was like, hey, don't fucking do that. Broke it up, and then they jumped him. And in the interview, like, it was in the 70s, I think, everybody was laughing and pretty much shitting on Thompson. But he was actually in the right for once. Like, they were cheering the Hells Angel guy on. And it's like, so beating your wife back then apparently was just fine, which was ridiculous. 19. They said we were friends. Unfortunately, Thompson's time with the Hells Angels didn't end as well as it began. On one occasion, Thompson Thompson witnessed a particularly nasty member of the gang known as Junkie George. Really? You think he was nasty? I think Junkie George would have been a fine fellow.
Yeah. Sounds like a wrestler, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. That sounds like a combination of Junkyard Dog and George the Animal Steel.
Yeah.
Not George the Animal Steel. George the Animal Steel. Why not? Junkie George, brutally beating his partner. George also struck his dog when the animal... Oh, come on. Really,
Fuck
George?
that guy.
Really, fucking George? You beat your wife, then the dog?
The wife, you could have got some people could have been like, well, she's maybe been nippy. But the dog...
The dog.
The dog...
George also struck his dog when the animal got in the way of the domestic's bat. So the dog was getting nippy too. But you don't fucking hit the... Come on.
No.
What a dick. A disgusted Thompson tried to stop George, insisting that only a punk beats his wife and dog. George respectfully disagreed with the sentiment, showing his difference in opinion with the savage beating that he and his friends bestowed on Thompson. Allegedly, Thompson was very nearly killed by this assault, but luckily he was only hospitalized. That's such a fucking shitty thing, because not only are you beating your dog and your wife, but your friends, like the one guy that tries to step up, your friends are like, no, he should be allowed to beat his wife and dog. How shitty were the Hells Angels back then? I don't know how shitty they are now, but that's fucked up.
Well, they are a biker gang.
Just because you're a biker gang doesn't mean you beat your dog. Maybe they had different morals back then. 18. Remember those good old days? Because the universe sometimes has a strange sense of humor, Thompson appeared on a CBC chat show in 1967, and the show surprised him by inviting on one of the Hells Angels who had beaten him with an inch of his life. Apparently I should have read this fucking list. That's what I just said.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, that's the one that was Junkie George. That was the interview you can watch on YouTube. This, too, is available to be seen online, and it contains far more audience laughter than a story of white beating. Like I told you, the fucking audience was laughing. I was like, what the fuck is this? This is a horrible story that he told. You think everyone should have been very uncomfortable, but he beat his wife. And the guy was saying things like, yeah, sometimes you just gotta slap a woman. Ho, 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 that canned laughter. 17. Who knew that would be my big break? Despite his near brush with death, the crazy success of Thompson's time with the Hells Angels led to his writing career really taking off. His writing appeared in the New York Times, Harper's Esquire, and Pageant, to name a few magazines that people used to read before the internet changed everything. I will say, I haven't heard of Harper's Esquire, unless it's just Esquire magazine now, and I don't know what Pageant is. But people definitely don't read magazines anymore. Like, I just had a 3-month subscription to the New Yorker, which is like $9 a magazine. I got fucking 3 months for $5, and then I canceled. So I got like fucking 15 issues of the New Yorker for $5. Tell me that's not hurting.
Did you read any of it?
I read a story in one of them.
That's it?
I just don't got the time, man. I figure maybe one day I'd become the magazine reading type, but I have all these novels, and there's like these things called comic books. And then you got movies and Netflix, that fucking asshole Netflix.
Goddamn Netflix.
They keep putting out these good shows. There's so many, and I can't even keep up. Now they got a new Viking show I want to watch, and it's like, god damn it. Son of a bitch. 16. A hipster hippie? Despite Thompson's embracing of the late 60s counterculture movement, he was also very critical of it in his writing. Thompson took umbrage with the hippies who claimed to be left-wing and political when really they were just after drugs. Well, that's like the big thing that they always make fun of hippies for anyway, right? Drugs.
Yeah.
Like back then, any kind of political movement they tried to start, they're just a bunch of dope heads, fuck them. So they ignored them. Apparently Hunter S. Thompson didn't care for that either, surprisingly.
Is ironic.
Right? 15. The Origins of Fear and Loathing. The book that would launch Thompson into American literary history was a case of Thompson initially planning to write one thing and then writing about something else entirely. In 1971, he and the Chicano activist and attorney Oscar Zeta Acosta, known to you all as Dr. Gonzo, were initially going to write about the death of Mexican-American journalist Ruben Salazar. Thompson and Acosta went to Las Vegas for a more relaxed atmosphere, taking advantage of an offer from Sports Illustrated to cover a race being held in the desert. Weeks later, they went back to cover the National District Attorneys Association Conference on Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs. It's a horrible name.
Yeah.
It's so long. During this, they proceeded to embark on a series of misadventures that would form a manuscript Thompson would write and submit to Rolling Stone. That had to be such a fucking weird thing to be like, being so high on drugs, and then you go to a narcotics conference with a bunch just full of cops.
Do they know? Do they know?
Well, if you read the book, it's hilarious how he describes it, because he's like talking to all these fucking meathead cops, and he's just high as shit the whole time. Directors come and go. Among the directors who tried and failed to get a movie adaptation of Fear and Loathing off the ground were Martin Scorsese, Alex Cox, and Oliver Stone. The project that was finally made was directed by Terry Gilliam, who had only briefly been in Las Vegas before, but still connected with the book immediately when it first came out. A lot of people didn't like that movie. I thought it was I felt it was very close to the book, and I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah. Though I would have liked to see a Martin Scorsese one. I think that could have been.
Yeah, but I feel like there'd be a lot more Goombas shooting people.
Yeah, I wouldn't want a Rolling Stone or an Oliver Stone, just because he always has a level of kind of bullshit in his.
That JFK movie he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel. I'm trying to think if I've ever watched any Oliver Stone movies. Here, read the next one. I'm gonna look up Oliver Stone movies.
Alright, 13. On second thought, let's bring back the jabbering dupe. Thompson was famous for his hatred for President Richard Nixon, and the feeling was neutral because Nixon ended up barring him from the White House. However, Thompson found an even bigger fish to fry when George W. Bush was elected president in 2002. He even remarked, if Nixon were running, I would happily vote for him instead. Was sure the ghost of Nixon had a good long chuckle about that one.
So, yeah, that's what I thought. I don't think he liked George Bush. That's pretty interesting. He actually disliked him more than he disliked Nixon. Because he really disliked Nixon.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising out of the two.
Yeah. How we were just talking about Oliver Stone movies. He did Natural Born Killers, which kind of had a feel of Fear and Loathing. Like, it was really weird and had fucking crazy wild shots and all kinds of colors and things. So it could have worked. I don't know if I'm a big Oliver Stone fan. I did like that movie. 12. Things That Fall Apart. Sadly, things eventually became strained between Thompson and Rolling Stone. In 1976, he was asked to go to South Vietnam and report on the end of the Vietnam War. Thompson agreed and traveled to the war-torn region even as most people were trying to flee. While there, he found out the Rolling Stone publisher, Jan Wenner, had pulled the plug on the story without telling Thompson. That's a fucked up thing to do.
Yeah.
He was left in South Vietnam without support or even health insurance. His report on the fall of Saigon wasn't even published until a decade later. You send a dude to a war zone and then just cut it and just leave him stranded? I think they just wanted to get him killed.
You know what I've been thinking throughout this whole list of how crazy, like, all of this happened before, like, we were even thought of by, like, our parents.
Yeah, I wasn't even a fucking twinkle in the old man's eye.
Just, like, the kind of, like, life that this guy had.
It makes me feel like I haven't done anything.
Not jack shit.
I mean, just a fucking trip to Vietnam in wartime is more than enough for anybody to write about, and he did that just on a whim. Well, he did that he was doing it for them, and then they just fucking blew him off. 11. At least it was a genuine accident. When a bear appeared at the lodging of Thompson's assistant, Deborah Fuller, Thompson did the gentlemanly thing and tried to scare it away with gunfire. Jesus. Unfortunately, when Thompson fired at the ground near the bear, the shotgun pellets ricocheted back up and hit Fuller in the arm and leg. According to Fuller, Thompson felt horrible about the accident and she did not file charges against him. And then they have a picture of him and they look lovely together. He's in a big robe.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at he has like a fucking 5 TV remotes, like,
yeah,
glued or nailed to his wall. Yeah, he has like 5 remotes just hooked to his wall. That's weird.
And it looks like they're in his kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely in the kitchen.
Is that a cake in front of them?
Yeah, and it looks like a heart's on it, maybe? Or a wiener?
Maybe it was somebody's birthday or something.
I wish they had some context to these pictures. They just post them. Number 10. They That Live by the Gun. In February 2005, Dr. Hunter S. Thompson... I love that doctor.
Yeah.
Dr. Hunter S. Thompson was in a state of depression. His health problems were increasing, football season was over, and the February weather wasn't helping his mood. On the 20th of the month, his son Juan brought his family up to visit Thompson. During the day, Thompson called his wife Anita who was at the Aspen Club. While he was on the phone with her, he cocked a gun and then took his own life as she was hanging up. When his son discovered Thompson, he allegedly called the police and walked outside to fire 3 shotgun blasts to mark the passing of his father. No doubt Thompson would have approved of that. When police looked into Thompson's typewriter, they found a paper with only February 22nd, 05 written on it in the word counselor. It's weird. I didn't know he had a kid. I wonder what he's up to now. I wonder what his kid's name is. Juan Thompson, I guess. Hunter S. Thompson, he said when the fun was over, he didn't even want to get old. Like, for him, being however old he was, like, that was way too old. Because he always talked about he wanted to die before he stopped enjoying life.
Yeah.
So that was kind of destined to happen. Like, he always said that's how he was going to go.
It's kind of surprised it didn't even happen sooner. Like,
Yeah.
that it lasted that, he made it that long.
Well, here we go. Lived and died by his principles. According to his friend and longtime collaborator, Ralph Steadman, Thompson had lived under the belief that a man was truly trapped if he couldn't take his own life at any moment, and his worsening medical condition would have affected that ability. Thompson also left a suicide note titled, "Football season is over." That reflected this philosophy. It read, "No more games, no more bombs, no more walking, no more fun, no more swimming." 67. That is 17 years past 50. 17 more than I needed or wanted. Boring, I am always bitchy, no fun for anyone. 67. You are getting greedy. Act your old age. Relax, this won't hurt. Fuck. When he went out on his own terms.
Yeah.
I mean, he still lived pretty old. He could have definitely died a lot younger.
Yeah, especially considering the things that he was into.
And I don't know if you ever watched his interviews he did, like, around that time. They got on local talk shows and Jimmy Kimmel, things like that. Or whatever, whoever the fuck, Letterman. He was he wasn't incoherent, but he was definitely harder. I mean, he always mumbled, but you could tell he was still on drugs and stuff. So he never really stopped, like, the party life. So surprised his medical condition wasn't worse. 8. Now that's a way to sign off. In true Hunter S. Thompson style, his ashes were fired out of a cannon on top of a 153-foot tower, all while Bob Dylan's Mr. Tambourine Man played in the background. The funeral, which reportedly cost $5 million, was paid for by Johnny Depp. Among those in attendance were Ralph Steadman, Benicio del Toro, Jack Nicholson, no hard feelings about his birthday scare, we see, Bill Murray, Sean Penn, Josh Hartnett, and surprisingly, Senators George McGovern and John Kerry.
That is surprising.
Yeah, because I thought George McGovern wouldn't like him, and John Kerry, that's a weird one. Wait, what was the Jack Nicholson birthday scare? Did we miss that?
I don't think they talked about it.
Yeah, what was that one?
Maybe it's the next fact.
I read about that sometime in the past, but I don't remember seeing that. 7. Sheriff Thompson on duty. In one of his most bizarre incidents, Thompson ran for the position of Sheriff of Pitkin County, Colorado in 1970. Thompson promised to legalize the recreational use of drugs, put a height ban on all buildings in the county, and rename Aspen Fat City. Much to everyone's surprise, including his own, Thompson was set to win the election, but the Democratic and Republican candidates consolidated their votes, narrowly defeating Thompson in his freak power ticket. When you force the Democrats and Republicans to work together, you know you stirred the pot. Fuck, I didn't know they could do that.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing, and how they would even go about doing that.
No, they did it. Anything to let them not win, I guess. Number 6, let me show you my gun collection. In the mid-'80s, a very wealthy businessman named Floyd Watkins bought the ranch next to Thompson in Aspen, Colorado. The two men hated each other, but in this case, Watkins alienated himself from the whole town as well. He had made his money in debt collections, and he spent his money fortifying his ranch with stronger and more extreme security measures. He even brought in Bengal tigers onto the property. Thompson must have seen all this protection as a challenge, and like any challenge he was faced with, he accepted it full throttle. Thompson drove up to Watkins' mansion and emptied 3 guns worth of bullets into it before speeding off. But he tried to murder the guy? By the time he was apprehended, Thompson had an alibi. He was apparently shooting at a porcupine, and his guns had been destroyed so that a ballistics test was out of the question. He walked away from any charges against him, presumably while flipping both birds at a red-faced Watkins. I'm pretty sure that's the guy in the interview he fucking shot, or was shooting at. I'm going to bring that up if you want to read this next one.
For liberty. During his lifetime, Thompson found the time to save a woman from life imprisonment. Liz Ullman was arrested by police in 1998 in an accident where the driver she had been with pulled out a gun and shot one of the police before shooting himself.
Jesus.
Due to a bizarre loophole in the law, Ullman was deemed responsible for the murder, which is kind of fucked up, despite being handcuffed in the back seat of a cop car when it happened.
What kind of loophole is that?
Yeah, that's
How?
That's the shittiest of loopholes. Hold on. Loophole. Alright, Thomas found out about this injustice and railed several celebrities to her cause. Finally, after Thompson cause went nationwide, and after spending 7 years in prison, Ullman was released. Sadly, Thomas did not live long enough to greet Ullman when she got out, but we can imagine his ghost nodded in approval before absent-mindedly ghost wrestling with Richard Nixon and
Timothy Leary.
That's crazy that she had to be in there for that long.
Yeah, that's really fucked up. Here's that. It's only 38 seconds long. It's called Hunter S. Thompson's America. If you want to look it up on YouTube, people, it's hilarious. It's a guy interviewing him, and he's like, while he's being interviewed, he's just having a gunfight with his neighbor.
Get out! You chicken shit bastard! Let me shoot them aside. Bird shot, you asshole!
The people who did this Declaration of Independence and the Constitution were good people.
Hey, like this!
And it's a good place. Here we are in the middle of it, right up on the mountain. If this son of a bitch...
Fuck, he shoot a desert eagle?
And shoot at me, well... It's our country. It's not theirs. It's not a bunch of used car dealers from Southern California.
Well, you figure he spent so much time in war places.
Yeah.
He probably picked something up. I'm gonna stop wearing those shorts, by the way, anybody who watches that video.
I think you'd look quite good in them. Quite dashing indeed. That's just hilarious. He's yelling at the guy, "We're shooting fucking birdshot, asshole," and he's shooting his big-ass gun. Who was the cameraman filming? What was happening that led to that? Because I think he was getting interviewed, but how did he just get into a gunfight? I wish I could have lived next to that dude.
What, so you get shot at?
Yeah, kinda. Think it would be interesting. Number 4, why aren't you laughing? Hunter S. Thompson and Jack Nicholson were allegedly good friends. We say allegedly because one year on Nicholson's birthday, Thompson decided that the best gift he could come up with for his friend was a prank fit to give Nicholson the heart attack of his life. Thompson snuck around Nicholson's house, firing off his gun and playing a tape of animal screams. Why does he always have tapes of animals making loud noises and screaming? It's weird.
Always strapped, too.
Yeah.
I did not know that about him.
Well, in Fear and Loathing, he always had a gun, didn't he?
Yeah.
He also left the heart of an elk on Nicholson's doorstep.
Jesus Christ!
Predictably, a terrified Nicholson called the cops while he and his family hid for their lives. Well, yeah, you're a famous actor and you just find fucking animal parts on your porch or something. Number 3, we'll call it Shotgun Golf. That's a great title. That'd be a good name for a band, Shotgun Golf. Can you sing? We could start a band. We'll be Shotgun Golf.
Can you sing or play any instruments?
I can do neither,
But that hasn't stopped anybody before.
but I can mumble rap.
That's true.
And I can, does spoken word poetry count? Like slam poetry? The man shot at the balls of golf.
Can you mumble speed rap?
Speed rap?
You know,
Like Tech 9?
Yeah, like this fact, like that. But also just mumble it.
It probably just sounds like you're speaking Arabic. I don't even want to attempt that. Unless you guys want to give us money. We should start doing that. We'll start up a Patreon and just take random suggestions from the fans and just post horribly stupid shit that we can do. Which is not much, because I'm not very talented in that regard.
Me neither.
We'll call it Shotgun Golf. Thompson became acquainted with actor Bill Murray when Murray played Thompson in the film Where the Buffalo Roam. I still need to see that. According to a transcript, Thompson called up Murray at 3 a.m. one morning and pitched a new sport idea to him. The idea involved a kind of clay pigeon shooting, except instead of clay pigeons being launched, a golfer would whack golf balls into the air, while another player would try to shoot the balls with a shotgun. That would be fun, but you have to be really good at shooting, I would think.
Well, that's if it is just like a shotgun and they try to hit it more up than like out. You know what I mean? If they're just trying
Yeah,
to-
but a shotgun is like a wide blast, and I get it can get a longer, or, more radius, but still,
'Cause,
wouldn't it have to be close?
Well, isn't that how they do like the clay? Don't they have like a?
Yeah, but they're bigger and they shoot, like you said, up. The point is, do you want to be shooting shotguns while balls fly towards you?
No.
Number 2, did we just invent fear factor? Sadly, it wasn't always a great idea to have Murray and Thompson in the same room together. In the early 1980s, the two men got drunk enough that attempting a magic trick in a pool was able to pass for a good idea. Thompson duct taped Murray to a chair and dropped him in the pool. Fuck. As you can expect, Murray couldn't break free. In fact, he would have drowned if Thompson hadn't pulled him back up just in time. Poor Bill Murray. Bill Murray's a wild dude, too.
Yeah.
He goes to random bars and just starts bartending, like, all the time. But what he does is, no matter what somebody orders, he just gives them, like, a thing of vodka or something. He doesn't actually make the drinks. Number 1, I hate it when people play me on screen. Interestingly, in addition to Murray's near-death experience, Thompson nearly killed Johnny Depp, who also played Hunter S. Thompson on film. The actor was staying in Thompson's basement for research purposes. One day, he lit a cigarette, only to notice he was sitting right next to a large stack of dynamite. Thompson hadn't warned him at all about said dynamite when Depp moved in.
Well, why does he have dynamite?
Why wouldn't he? Out of everything else he has, why wouldn't he have dynamite? Now, here's my question to you. Say you ever got to that level of fame, or like a Stephen King level of fame, where people want to play you in movies, do biographies on you. How would you feel, and who would you want to play you? How would you feel, one, of having some actor live with you and portraying you for one, like learning all your mannerisms and everything? Would that be weird? I think it'd be weird.
I mean, if they want to do a movie, fine. I don't know about the living with me. Like, I get the wanting to spend time and like hang out and pick my brain and stuff like that. But living in the same house with me, and like I don't even know who to pick. Like, I don't think I could pick somebody.
Young Quentin Tarantino?
Yeah.
Isn't that what your buddy said?
Oh God, so dumb.
Yeah, who? That's an interesting question. For you, I say Jim Parsons from Big Bang Theory.
Ah, fuck you, man.
Yeah, I don't know who I would have play me. Probably Brad Pitt. That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Well, Johnny Depp could probably play you now. You could have Nicolas Cage, actually.
You know what?
You take it?
I'll take it.
He'd probably do a good job.
I don't know if, like, he wouldn't know what to do because I'm nowhere near, like, anything in my life wouldn't give him the opportunity to pull his craziness, like, stunts, like, you know what I mean? Like, unless if he were playing pots while I was at work and, like, did the things that I wanted to do in my head, well, like, I'm dealing with, like, a bullshit customer.
I think it would have to go way back in time to our origins. At least our adult origins in the buggy fields. For you people who don't know, once upon a time, long ago.
Not long enough.
Not long enough. It's got to be like 10 years for me, but at least 10 years ago, and the days just, they stick with you. It's kind of like a war.
Yeah.
Like, you see things and you never outlive them. But once upon a time, me and Spencer and I, worked as cart pushers at Walmart. Courtesy associates when we started, and then buggy pusher, and then eventually, because in Pennsylvania they call them buggies for some reason, and then eventually just buggy bitch. And we've seen all kinds of things no man should ever witness.
Nobody should see the things that we see.
We worked in a hurricane, which doesn't even make sense in Pennsylvania, but it definitely was. Like, cars were moving. We dealt with blizzards. And, like, the elements, that was the thing we didn't mind.
That was the least amount of things that caused the problems with the elements.
Oh, man, we found a prostitute. There was a prostitute we called Queenie in this town who, she was about 80. She still pulled tricks, but she had a mattress in the back of her vehicle for some certain purposes. And one day she just dropped it off at Walmart. And who had to take that mattress back to the dumpster?
Who had to move the aid mattress?
It was definitely an AIDS mattress because it had stains and blood and it was gross.
Though I think our way of getting it back there was genius, though.
We put it on a shopping cart.
But I mean, even like, we used like poles.
Yeah, we made like a makeshift
that we used to pick it up, like almost like some kind of plinko thing.
We made like a makeshift like funeral casket lifter, and yeah, that was terrible. I don't know why we had to do that, but anyway, that was our humble origins. That was the most tame story I could think of. I don't want to gross everybody out.
What about? Should we tell them about the mayonnaise crazy straw?
Yeah, that one's not too bad.
It's not as bad as Aid mattress, but it's still gross.
Well, it's definitely gross. One time, Spencer and I were walking through the parking lot because we would just randomly walk around searching for things at times. And I stopped, and it was one of those weird, it was very strange how this happened. It was one of those moments of like self-reflection where I remember looking at you and I said, Spencer, have you ever just stopped and looked around at how gross this place is? And like, what do you mean, Caleb? And we both turned at the exact same time and just looked in a random direction and saw a jar of Miracle Whip.
A big one.
The jumbo family-sized jar of Miracle Whip. And it only had about a quarter of mayonnaise left in it. And in that jar, with mayonnaise all the way up through it, was not a straw, a fancy, like, one of those little kids' swirly straws, like a fun straw.
Yeah, one of the crazy...
Mayonnaise all the way up to the brim. Somebody was fucking drinking that mayonnaise.
Through a crazy straw.
But that's not even the grossest part of that story. I mean, finding it was disgusting, but wasn't it the mayonnaise we kept filling it with eggs we found?
Well, we'd keep it and kept it in the overstock so we could build up the stank. But we also did that with the eggs, too. One time when we were bored, we took we emptied out a water bottle and we found
a Gatorade bottle.
Gatorade, and we found a carton of eggs, and instead of returning it like we should have, we just cracked them open and filled the bottle up with eggs and just put it over into the overstock.
In the baking sun of August.
Yeah.
It's like July and August.
And just randomly would go like, we would have to do every couple weeks, like, yeah, let's smell it, let's see how bad it gets.
It got bad. It turned like all kinds of weird colors before it turned black. That thing was there for a while. Like definitely all summer and into the fall. Well, I don't know why we actually did that. It was a science experiment, I guess. But anyway, I don't know how we got on this fucking topic. We were talking about it. They made a movie of our lives, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, Nicolas
That would be
Cage.
the whole movie. I don't even see why anything after that would be interesting.
Yeah, that's the only thing that would be worth putting on film.
I'm trying to think how long... I worked there for 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, when did I quit there? Man, it wasn't 10 years ago.
No.
2012?
No, I was there for like almost 6. I did it for almost 6 before I transferred.
I'm going to say, I'm 32 now. I think I started that job when I was 22. Yeah, so it was a while ago. It's 2019. Fuck. Yeah, I don't know, but that was a bad time. I didn't like any day I ever worked there, I don't think.
No.
We did a lot of things we weren't supposed to. Anyway, well, I guess we could end it on that. That was very interesting. Did you, find anything about Hunter S. Thompson you found quite intriguing?
I mean, I didn't know he was such a gun guy.
Yeah, I knew he liked his guns, because like I said, I saw the videos. I didn't know he was in the NRA. Or that he had to fucking try to murder his neighbor once.
I didn't know that he had to save that poor lady's life who was in jail because...
Yeah, the shooting thing.
Yeah, like that
was pretty wild.
That's so fucked up. That seems like something that would happen now.
Yeah. Well, think about before the internet how many times things like that happen.
True.
That was more recent, though, because he... how long was she in jail? I forget.
Like 7 months or something like that?
Yeah, but that was more recent because it said it was right when he died before she got out, so that was like 2005. That's about all we have for that one.
I mean, I know you're more of a Hunter S. Thompson guy. Is there anything...
Well, I read Fear and Loathing, but that's about it. I didn't really check out his other work. I want to read Fear and Loathing on the campaign trail sometime. His writing style is very unique. I like it. It's entertaining for sure. I wouldn't say he's like a real literary writer, but he definitely has his moments. And I never seen how he wrote, but I feel like he was one of those one finger at a time on a typewriter guys.
Probably.
I never did a whole bunch of drugs and wrote anything, so I don't know how that would work out for me. But after his daily routine, I'd see that as... That'd be challenging, I would think. Because I know if I just get kind of drunk, my writing sucks ass. So imagine being hammered drunk, high on weed, cocaine, mushrooms, acid, and what was the other thing he took? Just a bunch of... He took like cocaine every hour. Well, as fun as that was, if you folks want to catch more of what we do, you can hit us up on drunkenpenwriting.com. You can hit us up on drunkpenwriting on Twitter there. And same on Facebook, Drunken Pen Writing. And you can email us at drunkenpenwriting@google.com. And we are taking suggestions for podcast ideas. We have a good bit of them saved up, but we can always use more.
Yeah.
And until next time, try not to do a lot of drugs and write. And if you do happen to do a lot of drugs and write, send us the work because we want to read that.
Yeah, I want to know what that sounds like.
All right, folks. Have fun.
See ya.
Putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap. Gay. Frogs, friggin' frogs. It's not funny. I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Gay. Frogs. Won't you fight for your life? Friggin' frogs! I don't like them frogs! Gay friggin' frogs! Frogs! Friggin' frog crap! Won't you fight the frogs? It's not funny! I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Frogs! Place point.